Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 99th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jaden.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning. And PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. the Peacemaker, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hello.
Yo. Excited to talk about some cinema,
Yeah. Are we?
Some real cinema is what we're about to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Alien³, which opened in the US on the 22nd of May, 1992. It was directed by David Fincher. It is a sci-fi horror film, and the synopsis says, after her last encounter, Ellen Ripley crash lands on Foriana 161. They call it Fury. It's called Fury. A maximum security prison. When a series of strange and deadly events occur shortly after her arrival, Ripley realizes that she has brought along an unwelcome visitor. Can you guess what that visitor is? No chance. Liam, Alien 3, how many times you seen it? What do you think?
This is my first rewatch. It's a very weird film. She goes to this weird planet. All these rapists are here, and they're it's very bloody, but it's not really particularly tense or anything. And it's, I don't know, very weird and grimy, and I don't fully understand it. And the CGI is really bad, and
It's weird.
guys.
It's weird, guys. I agree. Jaden.
So this is my first rewatch as well, and I've only ever seen the assembled cut, the special edition of the film.
Right.
I wasn't even aware that there was, because I knew that Fincher didn't want anything to do with the project since then, so I think they made a second cut, but then turns out they did. That's the one I've seen, and I'm not sure how much of it is actually a good product compared to the original, but Alien 3 has always been one that has been on the cusp of liking and loving, honestly. But yeah, I do like it. It's odd, it's different. It feels like a franchise killer because that's kind of what it was designed to be, but I quite like it.
Interesting. Okay. In terms of the versions, Disney Plus, they had the theatrical. But it's so funny that it's called an assembly cut. Actually, hang on, let me get into this trivia here quickly, a bit out of order here, but this has got sort of the recurring narrative probably of all the trivia and conversation around this movie that's existed for years, and will continue here. First time director David Fincher disowned this film, stating in an interview, I had to work on it for 2 years, got fired off it 3 times, and had to fight for every single thing. No one hated it more than me. To this day, no one hates it more than me. He cited constant studio interference during production and actually walked out when the studio rejected his initial cut and ordered reshoots. He was not involved in the final theatrical cut, but his initial rough cut later became the basis for the assembly cut, a longer version of the film that released on Blu-ray. Although Fincher was asked to work on this assembly cut, he considered it, but eventually decided against it, instead giving the job to a producer he trusted. But that's why it's not called a director's cut. He didn't want it to be called a director's cut because it's essentially a cut that sort of more resembles his original vision, but he didn't have anything to do with it, if that makes sense. So that's interesting. How different did you find this theatrical, Jane? Is it quite...
I haven't seen the theatrical.
Oh, so you watched the assembly again?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I didn't
really
want to put myself through a theatrical and try and possibly tarnish my perception of it.
Yeah, That's so interesting. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out how different they are when I'm like, hey, remember that moment? And you're just like, no. We just watch different movies.
Reading through the trivia should tell you a bit about what's different, right? Because the dog and the ox is a difference. But
in terms of what the xenomorph starting there with an ox. Okay. Mm-hmm. I wonder where that will take us. But for me, watching the theatrical anyway, what an uninteresting, bland movie to experience. My eyes glazed over watching this thing. I don't know, story, acting, direction, it's all just it's just forgettable, man. There's nothing going on here. And people waited years for this in the cinema. And then people waited years more for that assembly cut, which hopefully, which I may or may not watch one day. Hopefully, Jaden seems to like it, so hopefully it redeemed it in the eyes of some people. But my God, this thing, I don't know. It's not a travesty, but I'm also sort of starting to reflect on the fact of how uninteresting and boring it was. Like maybe that should make that I'm starting to like reassess how I feel in terms of things, because just because it's like coherent and just because it makes sense, like, is not an excuse for how like uninterested I was watching this thing. So I didn't enjoy it. I did not like it. Well, okay, well I don't. So I'm going to try and as we go just decipher like how different this other cut is. Do you know the difference? Like, how long was yours, Jaden?
2 hours 18.
Holy shit, that's half an hour longer.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. That's super interesting. So, did you get the intro? Do you have the sort of unsettling intro with like the vocal score and the quick inserts? We've got the actors' names coming up and then flashes of shit. You got that? I quite liked that. I was in on that.
Yeah.
I thought it was better than Aliens' intro, and sort of was something different, and was probably maybe undeniably the most tense part of the movie. Because I was sort of like, oh shit, oh, that's creepy. And like the score was cool and they had like the music going on. I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And
yes,
then
the music going on.
But you know what I mean? There was like the vocals, like
Yeah.
the creepy like sort of religious stuff. It was quite interesting.
I love the religious stuff in the film.
Yeah, with all the prisoners.
Yeah.
So in this cut that I watched, Fitzy, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just not explored at all, right? Like, like they say that they're prisoners and they found God, and we see how they behave. Like they've got the shaved heads and I don't know, they sort of kneel down and shit. But like, it's not like thematically relevant in any way, as far as I can see. Like, there's nothing interesting going on.
Yeah, no, not really. But I mean, I guess what you said with the vocals, like the angelic vocals, it does kind of give a weird vibe to it, because like the film looks like really kind of ugly, but then you kind of have that like back theme of like, Christianity, or like hope or grace or whatever, and like that is especially present with like Ripley's sacrifice, I guess.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, like it's not explored in the men, other than the fact that they're like, I don't know, they're trying to be better people, I guess. That is one thing that keeps coming up. Yeah.
But I just don't give a shit about any of them at all. Like, not 1% of me gives one shit, They're just so uninteresting, so boring, dude. But that's the crazy thing. Like, I really like that opening score, and you call it angelic vocals. That's a great way to put it. But it was just like, it just felt like such a missed opportunity in my cut. My cut. You know what I mean? The cut I watched, the cut we watched. It was just like, there's something interesting here. Like, I like the idea. I like some of the execution and some of the stylistic choices to back it up. But then there's nothing in the final like working script that I viewed to cling on to sort of sink my teeth into and think about. There's just nothing there at all. How does that change for you, Jane? Why did you enjoy the religious stuff so much? And if you can maybe like describe every scene where it's different.
Well, I'm not aware of what's different or not, but but don't you get like a lot of talk about like, because like there's quite a lot of talk about God and just within scenes there'll just be characters like talking about like those like don't swear or don't curse in the name of God, but then they all swear and stuff like that. It's like there's lots of moments of like religious insert throughout. I don't know, like
I remember the cursing. There was one scene I remember where like someone corrected someone for like saying like shit or something.
Yeah,
it was like that.
Wait, which edition
That's
did you
crazy.
watch,
Disney Plus theatrical, I guess. Theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I just do like religion in my products. I think it's really cool when it's explored.
Yeah.
And I like the way that I like this kind of, I don't know. I love the way that it adds to this planet and the atmosphere of it. It's kind of this, neo-Gothic nature.
I thought you were talking about Earth initially. I love the religion adds to this planet.
Yeah, all the wars it inspires and stuff like that.
It's really cool, dude.
Yeah, I can't tell you about every time it happens though. No, sorry.
No, that's cool. I mean, I'm sure the added runtime and I don't know, just spending more time with some of those themes, and I'm sure it's done better. Fincher, I'm sure he knew what he was doing with that stuff. It just didn't play out in this version.
I mean, the
At
most
all.
important one is the shot of like the cross on the planet. Like, did you get that shot at least? Like, it's very early in the film,
I don't recall it at all.
just after like Ripley's been taken into the facility, and you get like a establishing shot of like the beach, and like it's kind of like lost in the machinery.
A beach.
Well, not the beach, but like like kind of like the like the water, like the like kind of industrial and like landscape how it like blends into the waterfront.
I don't recall that at all. 50, do you?
No, I don't remember.
Every establishing shot
from
I
beach.
recall of the planet, of the prison, of the setting is like just sort of an over the top shot of like just, I don't know, it just looks like an ugly ass brown building.
Okay, well, I think that must be different then, because like there's definitely like there's quite a few. Well, hold on. Do you see Ripley get carried into the facility?
I don't think so, right?
No, I think
Also,
she just
don't
lands
trust me on
the-
this, but no.
Yeah, I think it just ends up on the medical table.
Yeah, right. So they find her. So the first scene is when they find them in the they find them in cryosleep, and they're like digging through, and she's like, "Oh, this one's still alive." And then doesn't it just cut to her sort of on the? They put her down on the bed.
All right, so that's a big difference. So in this one, Ripley's been like flung out of the ship and like washes up on the shoreline.
Oh shit! No, that's
Oh,
totally not it.
yeah,
That's
and-
totally not it at all.
And like Charles Dance finds her on like and he picks her up and he carries her off. And like in that, like you then see them get sent back to the ship, and they're looking for they look for more survivors, and like and you get like a lot of you get a few more shots of like the surrounding landscape.
Holy Jesus! No, that is no. That's definitely not in this. That's
Okay.
crazy.
And
That's
like
crazy.
it's just throughout. There's a few shots of like just the exterior and stuff like that, and it really adds to the aesthetic of the planet. It's really nice. Well,
That's
not
so
nice, but
interesting.
yeah, it's nice.
It's nice. It's sweet. That's so interesting. Wow. So okay. So everything that we saw in that respect was a reshoot. So then, how did you get introduced to the fact that Bishop, what's the little girl's name, Newt, and Michael Bean, I don't know their names. The three, how did they die for you?
We just get told that like obviously there's those inserts in the beginning, but you can't show Michael Biehn because he refused to allow his likeness to be used in the film.
Yes.
So it's all off screen and stuff, and like they find Ripley, then they go back, and then like it in the search after like I don't know a couple of seconds, it just cuts away, and then we find out later, Charles Dance tells them, they're both dead. We have them in the morgue, and then they go to the. What did you get the autopsy scene?
Yeah, where
Okay,
they
Yeah.
go into Newt. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that.
That's okay. That's so interesting. So in this cut, that we get the little thing where they sort of all the prisoners like discover the crash ship and sort of dig into it, and there's the three sleeping pods next to each other, and we get this actually like sort of, in my opinion, what was sort of a cool little montage moment where what they do is they put the camera on like the cryo chamber and inside the corpse of Newt. They do it for all of them, but say Newt, and then it comes up on like this little HUD comes up on the side of the screen, like little graphics come up, and it's like meant to simulate a computer, and it's like Newt, 12-year unidentified 12-year-old girl, and then it like does like the fake little imaging, like it's deciphering her face, and then it goes deceased, and then it cuts, and it was like a little weird like editing montage they put in,
Yeah.
and they just sort of confirm it through like a computer scene where then they just show their corpses in the cryo sleep.
Wait, so what do you have for that? Like, how are you explained the deaths?
Charles Dance just tells you.
Yeah.
Oh, like in the medical
yeah,
bay.
in the infirmary, she asked.
It's
What's
so
that?
interesting.
I'm pretty sure that's like because I don't remember.
You'd
that
remember
really.
this. It was very like it was an obvious moment to me. It was interesting.
I don't know. I could just be an idiot. So
No, that's super interesting. But that's so funny because that's obviously a reshoot, and I guess it was done. The studio, I guess, felt that it needed to be more obvious because it's in your face. Like this, hey guys, Newt died. Like
Well, So Charles Dance explains the death of the girl in the infirmary in this one, but does he explain like the deaths of the other people?
He tells you that. He tells you that Hicks is dead as well, and he tells you that Bishop is just smashed beyond repair, or like he's just completely in an like obsolete state.
Okay.
That's wow. Okay, this is very interesting. I'm enjoying this. So Charles Dance, then, right? He's in this movie, which was a fun moment for me. I did not expect it. He is great. Like, I just enjoy him on screen. I just love his voice. You know, he's just a great actor. Anyway. Oh yeah, Jane. For you, did Charles Dance just randomly die?
Well, how do you mean randomly?
So he's the only prisoner in this cut that has any sort of development or any sort of backstory. And he tells Ripley this backstory, which was interesting actually, of him being a doctor and prescribing the wrong dose, etc. And then literally, if I'm not mistaken, like a minute after he gives the backstory, he just gets like killed in that room.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Oh, okay.
And like you see like head get crushed by the alien a bit, and in like the.
Oh, you see his head get crushed?
Oh yeah, we see that.
Yeah, like in the curd, and like the alien like wraps up his head a bit and like pushes it, and then like he takes up the vent.
Oh, I forgot that. That's messed up, dude.
Yeah, we see it like smashed.
But you see,
wow.
There's the difference is that I guess it's not directly related to his character, but his character isn't the only one that gets developed.
Okay.
I don't know how much so like does 85 get developed in yours, or like does
who the hell is 85?
85 is like the second in command bloke.
Oh, right.
Because do you spend much time with him?
I guess more than others, but
once he becomes a leader, we get a little bit of time with him.
Okay, yeah. And then the other big one that I know of is, I don't know his name, but he's like the kind of the preacher one, like the one you describe as a preacher. He gives the speech at the incinerator, like.
Not Dylan.
Like, huh?
Not Dylan.
Is that the name?
Is that who it is?
Let me have a look at the.
Here's the speech.
The black guy. It's the black guy. Jane doesn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Wait, is it? Oh, yeah, Dylan. Yeah, Dylan's black guy.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So you get some time with him.
Yeah, Charles S. Dutton. That's the guy.
Well, we get like a little bit with him. Like he's definitely the next most important, but we don't really get like development per se.
Oh.
Yeah, no. So I think reading someone's review, I think that's something that I said is like one of the bigger takeaways from between like the theatrical and that is that you spend a lot of time with him. And like, do you get the scene where like Ripley nearly gets raped and then he saves her?
Yeah.
You do. Oh, you do?
He like hits him.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought that wasn't in there, because in the review it says that was removed in the theatrical release. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So like, I think we spend a lot more time with him, and he gets redeemed a bit as a character.
Right. So in this version, for me, when that seems to happen, like he's in broad strokes, but for me, it was just like the most forced bullshit in this entire movie. Where, dude, there's like a scene where he's like, "Why should we put our ass on the line for you?" While they're like trying to organize, their defense against the Xenomorph. It's like, bro, do you know what movie you're in? Like, this is Alien, and she's explained that there's an alien. Everyone else seems to understand, and it's just like, it was just so bizarre. He's like, "Are you, like, what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit here? Like, you may as well do something." And then,
are you sure he says that?
He does. He 100% says, "Why should we put our ass on the line for you?" And then, like, in the next scene or something, he just turns really quick. He's just like, suddenly he's like, then there's like one or two extra scenes. There's a scene where he's gonna kill her but doesn't. Ripley, where he like he goes to like hit her in the head to execute
there's
her.
that.
There's that, and he doesn't do it. And then so there's that scene which was kind of out of place in my opinion. And then he sort of just sacrifices himself at the end, and that's it. And
so this fills out his story a lot more.
Okay.
He doesn't just she goes to him to she goes and asks him to kill her, right? Like that's what happens in yours, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And he doesn't do it, for whatever reason. But like I'm pretty sure from this, like it's like as soon as Charles Dance gets taken, I think she has a little chat with him, but then from that point onwards, and like he's a bit adverse to it, but then like from that point onwards, he's 100% on board, and he's kind of like one of the main driving factors of catching the alien and shit like that.
Interesting. Okay. Right.
I think it probably all plays out the same, but there's just more in between to make it make sense.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is, I mean, that's all you need in a film. Yeah. No. So here, through my experience watching it, was just felt so weird. Like at the end, when is it? I assume it's the same at the end when he tells Ripley to climb.
Yeah, I think
And
I think that's a good moment.
Yeah, the scene's fine. It's just like it's so funny how the context surrounding it and the amount of time you spent with the character beforehand and how that's all executed beforehand changes it. Because for me, watching it, it was just so weird. It was just like I felt nothing, and like the scene itself is fine, nothing wrong with it. It was just I didn't give a shit, and that's so interesting. How
Yeah, no,
that
I think
seems to be different.
it definitely does a better job of it in the extended cut.
Cool. And then in terms of what other are there any other prisoners? Because I can't think of any more.
Like there's that one that goes mad when he like gets drenched in blood.
Do we know who
No?
that is, Fitzy?
Golik, I think his name is.
I don't know who that is.
So
he gets
probably a scene, but I don't.
He gets tied up in the infirmary.
Tied up.
I don't think anyone gets tied up.
He's in the scene because like it's like in the scene where the alien kills those two blokes. He's like the third one there, and he gets drenched in the blood, and he gets kind of mad, and he starts raving about a dragon, and then like, he keeps on like appearing.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
infirmary scenes.
Dragon, I remember that.
And like he's the one that lets the alien go.
Yeah. He's like really scared of it.
Wait, does someone let the alien go in your version?
Well, he doesn't let it go, but he like almost does. Like doesn't close the door.
Well, yeah, he goes in there to go like seek his wisdom or some shit, and like he lets it go essentially. No,
He like purposefully lets it go.
well, I don't know if it's purposely, but like he opens the door because he wants to see it. That's the
I don't think that happened.
That was not made clear to me at all. If that's what was happening.
Well, that's what happens.
This is so interesting to me because now I've just got no idea if I'm a moron or if it actually is different. So
Is it like when the alien is like, it's like on Ripley's ass and like on David, like, and it's like it's gone through all the like the maze, kind of all the doors and stuff.
So this is after that point because he gets trapped up. He gets trapped in the room and is trapped in there for a period of time.
Oh, okay, that didn't happen.
And then so like during that time, Ripley's talking to 85, and she's like, "Let's message the company again because I have a feeling something's going on." So she messaged him, and she's like, and she goes to the company. Are we allowed to kill this alien because we have it trapped up? And they're like, "No, do not kill it."
That does not happen.
And then from that point, like she's like, "All right, so we need to figure out a way to kill it, whatever." And then in that time is when Golik goes and sets it free.
That does not happen, right, Fitzy?
I don't think so. No,
No.
I don't think they ever trap it. Actually,
No, they never. So that sounds like they have a moment where they actually succeeded.
Yeah.
No, that does not happen.
And they trap it. They put a guard on.
No, yeah, that's definitely different.
That does not happen in this movie.
Yeah.
This version. That is crazy, dude. So for us, that's why I was so unengaged by, I mean, the movie overall, but just more the more it went on, because sort of anywhere in that second half, the whole thing just felt like. But that's so interesting because it sounds like there was meant to be like a more logical sort of beat where like they have a plan, they execute the plan, it works, and then there's drama with the company, and then that releases it. Like that starts to make sense in my mind. Whereas in the last hour of the version I watched anyway, to me it was like the whole thing was just a blur of like they're making a plan and the Xenomorph's still running around and nothing really happens at all. They're sort of just like there's scenes here and there where like the Xenomorph kills one of them or chases one of them, and then nothing really happens other than just sort of occasional running around. And Ripley, and Ripley finds out she's got it inside her. That does happen. That's sort of the only pivotal story beat until the company turns up at the end.
Yeah, well, like in Jaden's, it seems like there's a break from the action a bit where you get the alien traps, but here it's always running around for the last 40 minutes.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of like a massive like finale kind of. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like but it didn't feel like a finale. It just felt like it never
Yeah,
started
it was
or
just
ended.
running
Like
around.
yeah, exactly. It was really awkward. It was weird. So in that case, so Ripley notifies the company to come.
Yeah, because she tells 85 to, because like like I don't know, like they were just talking about like I don't know like some shit, and she's like, because like they're talking about like the rescue like escort, and he's like, oh yeah, they'll be here in like 4 or 5 days or something like that, and she, she's like, let's go talk to him a bit again, and like as they're liaising, she goes, let me try something, because like she's like they want to come here and take it, and like 85's like, no they won't, so she sends off that message, and about like, oh, can we kill it, or that they can't kill it because they're fucking technically inept,
Yeah.
but she sends that as like a bait to show him that they're not coming here to save him per se.
Right. So in 85 just calls them in this version, right? Liam? Doesn't 85 go and do it? Ripley does not call them.
Well, they're in the office together on like the computer.
But that's not the same scene where he is with her, like scanning her body for the xenomorph.
That
Inside
happens like pretty soon after, I believe.
No, that's so. I believe. Hang on, I think that's the first scene they have together, like 1-on-1.
Oh really? Oh no.
Yeah, maybe. Well, one
'Cause
thing I
to
didn't
me-
understand was like Ripley like wanted something from him, like some code or something. Like he wanted him to do something with the message, or something. Like,
Yeah, so she like that's the thing. Like she wanted him to type out that message asking for permission to kill it, but he wouldn't do it because he didn't. He didn't want to. Oh wait, hold on, or is that something different as well?
I don't know, because in this one, like she wanted some code or something from him, and he was like, "Oh, I can't do that." And he was like giving her up. It felt like, but I didn't understand what was happening.
No, I think the same thing happens in this one. Where like it's that scene I'm talking about where she's asking for like the code to like communicate with them, where like to send them a message or some shit.
But it sounds like that scene where they establish what the code is was cut out because I don't know what the code is.
Well, they never establish the code is what they just go together and like he starts typing and then she takes over.
But I don't think that's in the. I don't think that part is in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They talk about it, but it's like, oh,
But Zach, do you remember the scene where like Ripley's confronting 85 about something, and she like wants something, and they have like he's like not allowing her to do something. It's got something to do with some code or something, and he's like saying like it's in you, like it's over, like with nothing we can do or something like something. It's like along those lines.
He's saying that we can wait for the rescue team to cut it out of you, whereas she wants to kind of kill herself, I think. But he says there's going to be a medical bay on the ship or whatever. He says like we can cut it out of you. And she's saying there's not time. Let me just
I don't know. It was something. I don't know what it was.
I don't recall him saying anything along the lines of we'll cut it out, like him being overly wanting to save her, like wanting to cut it out.
Yeah, I think that's just a difference. Yeah.
That's so weird. God damn, this movie. What a weird ass movie. Oh my god. There is just some weird stuff going on. So you got, I imagine, the same like just trash looking full body CG xenomorphs?
Like we got some like yeah, there's like some like wide shots that kind of have like that CG look.
Yeah.
But in the assembly edition, they do go back and redo the CG to make it look a bit better.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
It still doesn't look good by any means, but like it looks better, is what I heard.
It's 2003 CG versus 92.
But you do get like you still get like some like close ups of like like a proper alien look,
Yeah.
Which is really, because like it's really interesting that like the ones in like those close ups where like it's really in your face and like it's kind of handling the prisoners. It looks very different to the CG versions.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because the practical alien, the puppet, still looks terrific. Like,
there's
that one, if I recall, where he kills whatever, I don't know what gender it is. So the xenomorph kills, isn't it a queen? I guess it's a she. Kills
this one's not a queen.
It's not? Hang on. Wait, what the fuck?
That like so like this one came from just like a random face hugger that like impregnated the ox or the dog in your case, but the one in Ripley is the queen.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That's fine. Okay, cool. That makes got it. So, but that shot where I think one of the prisoners is in the tunnel and it comes out the other end of the tunnel and it's like looking over there and that was a cool shot.
Yeah.
And there's multiple shots where like it's got blood all over it and shit. Like any close ups with just its head, I think are still quite well lit and done and still very intimidating. Yeah, it's just they sort of rely more on all the chase sequences. Where they just, in our version, it just felt like they were running in circles for 40 minutes. On some CG that doesn't look particularly great at all. But we do get do you get like the fisheye POV shots of the Xenomorph? Do you get those?
Yep. And like when it's on like the ceiling and shit.
Yeah, and it like sort of the camera twists and stuff. I kind of like that actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Your tour vision of David Fincher seeping through the studio cut of this goddamn movie.
I think the other big difference I want to talk about before we forget about it is that the ending is different. Where is different. Where like in the theatrical cut, the alien bursts out of Ripley, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So she's falling.
So in this one, that doesn't happen. She just jumps into the incinerator. Like the argument tends to be that this version is better because in the theatrical cut, the alien bursting out of the chest, it takes away from Ripley's sacrifice. It has less weight because she's going to die because she just dies anyway. And like the alien's out. Whereas this way, this is her choice, and she is killing the alien as well, and whatever. So like, yeah. But I'd like to see what the alien bursting out of it looks like. Did it look cool at least?
It was fine.
No, okay.
It looked exactly like you'd imagine it. Right. It was very quick. Like you sort of just get one shot where like it's sort of a close up on the chest and it just bursts out, and that's sort of it. And then she does just fall in the lap.
Yeah. Well, she kind of holds it. She like keeps it in.
Oh, does she? I don't recall that. She like tries to.
I think she like keeps her hand on top of it and like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, that's nice.
Make sure she kills it, I guess.
But to your knowledge, is the lead up to that the same in terms of having the company turns up, then they have the conversation with the real bishop, the real bloke?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that remains pretty similar.
Right. I like that stuff. It's like for me, it's like way too little, too late. It's like, wow, you're throwing something interesting in the last 5 minutes of this movie, but I liked that because in the past two films, like the company, I mean, we spend a little bit of time with like their representatives and stuff at the start of Aliens, but there's sort of this elusive thing that they were cool in Alien when they were sort of just in the background, and you sort of like throughout that movie, purely through the perspective of the crew, like come to understand what their motivations are. And then in this film, it comes up again where Ripley's like, the company doesn't give a shit about us. They just want the Xenomorph alive. And as she was saying, I'm like, oh, we're still doing this. Like, can we not develop the company a little bit more at this point? But then they turn up at the end. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Wish they'd been there earlier, but that's fine. And then I really like that Bishop actor. Oh, I've forgotten his name already. So when he turned up, I was like, oh, this is cool. And he's like the human version of Bishop. And he's like the whole, do you trust him? Do you not? What are their motivations? Are they true? They're like, the lines are blurred a little bit. Ripley doesn't like give a shit, like does not trust the 1% at all. But I thought, okay, there's actually some drama here, Do you trust this guy? I presume he's just a lying piece of shit, I presume that they're definitely not, because he says they're going to kill the alien. I don't believe it. But I don't know. It was like for the first time in this movie, I was sort of like, oh.
No, there's a line where it's like, there's a line where like when they start shooting at Ripley, and he's like, "No, don't shoot her because we need the alien inside her," or some shit like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a very quick line where like he says something along the lines of like, "Don't hurt her" or some shit like that. But like I think there's like an extra word in there that implies don't hurt her because of the alien or some shit like that.
Yeah, he says something like that in this. He says like how important it is to study it or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he says that. Yeah.
But then I guess is he making the argument that then he's but then once they're done studying it, they're going to kill it.
Oh,
I think he just blurts it out. And he's kind of admitting.
Oh, right. So he's just
admitting it.
caught in he's just completely caught for lying. He's
because like when 85 smacks him in the back of his head, like, you know, he gets a bit pissed off, and like Ripley try, you know, that's when they start going over the incinerator, and he's just like, just think.
Okay. Right. So I guess when he was like, we're gonna kill this thing, he was just full of shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. That was, I mean, it felt a bit random, but it was a nice surprise nonetheless to have like Bishop turn up and him's like, no, I'm not an android. I created Bishop. You know, do we get this guy's name? I don't recall.
He's still Bishop.
Oh, that's his name. Still, like the human version. His name's Bishop.
Yeah.
Is that like, that's kind of egotistical to name an android based off just you, you know? It's like if I developed robots that are just clones of me, and I was like, they're just all called Zach, you know?
I'd buy one.
You'd buy one? You'd buy a robot Zach? No, you wouldn't. Let's be real. No one would want that, dude. One's plenty, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I have to give them credit. I spieled in the Aliens review that, dude, I want Bishop to be involved still because he was my favorite part of that movie, and they delivered. He was here and he did some stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, fair enough. I can't complain too much, can I? And I wasn't expecting Ripley to die. To be honest.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that she actually died. Like, actually.
Yeah. And now the Alien 4 title starts to make a bit more sense. And also
I actually think I was spoiled for that, yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if I want to hear about that. I'm sort of scared about that even more now. But yeah, there was the trivia, which sort of confuses me actually, because months before the movie came out, the studio wanted to reshoot Ripley's death because it was too similar to Terminator 2, which you can sort of see. You can see their point. But I hate the idea of that.
No
anyway.
spoilers here. I haven't seen Terminators. Let's not.
Oh, you don't know the ending of Terminator 2?
No.
Oh, sorry. Well, I didn't explicitly say anything, but you can see their point.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense because, like, you know, I think like they were shooting this, and Terminator 2 would have come out, and I think that's why, like you know, and then they did like 3 months of reshoots after that, right? Is that when the reshoots?
That's
were?
how. Yeah.
And then 2 years of editing later for Fincher, so that gets to the '93 release. It's like it makes a lot more sense that way. Whereas, yeah, I don't know.
God, that's so weird. But the thing is, though, like they wanted to change it for that reason, but it is still similar. Like, did they? I didn't really understand. Like, even in my version, it's similar.
Yeah, but I guess like the key difference is the alien bursting out. Like that's that's
it's just, genuinely what they wanted to add to differentiate.
That's genuinely what they wanted to add. Yeah,
that does not make it that much different, really. Like, at least the way it's done in the theatrical, like it is a quick moment that the alien bursts out. Like, it's not some plot point or anything. That's interesting that they decided to do that. I see. For me, like, you'd want to change the visuals of it. You'd want to change, like, it's literally lava. Like, you know, you'd want to change that aspect of it.
Oh no, it's not lava in this one. It's like she just falls into like the incinerator, like flame.
Oh really? It was like, lava for us, right?
You know how like when
no? Just looks like lava to me.
You know how like when like they burn like Newton Hicks's body like in the incinerator, and she's like that massive flame thing.
As in what? It's just like fire down there.
Well, yeah, it's like a controlled fire, like, you know, like it's like this massive, like, you know, burning, like, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it probably was. It probably just was that for me. I'm probably just misremembering it. Anyway, something hot. We'll say that. At one point, David Fincher was denied permission by the film's producers to shoot a crucial scene in the infirmary between Ripley and the alien, where the latter menacingly closes in on Ripley. Against orders, Fincher grabbed Sigourney Weaver a camera and shot the scene anyway. The scene not only appears in the final cut, but also featured prominently in the trailers, and many regard it as the movie's most iconic shot. I actually don't know which shot this was.
It's when Charles Dance dies, and like the alien comes down, and he goes like right up into Ripley's face.
Got it. Okay, no, I do know that one. I thought I was trying to picture it at the end somewhere, but that makes more sense. Man, I think that just sums it up, man. Can't give this guy permission to shoot that scene. Why not? It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't understand. It's so bizarre to me. And then there was there's all this stuff about how they didn't really give a shit about the quality of the film. They just, it's so counterproductive. Like all this studio drama is just so interesting to me and so bizarre to me in this particular case. Because, sometimes like the conflict makes sense, you disagree, but it's like, yeah, I sort of see where they come. This is so bizarre where it's like, apparently like the studio only cared about the film, like they just wanted an Alien sequel, they just wanted it to be a financial product that made money. That sort of was their angle on it, and that's where the conflict with Fincher all sort of arose. But it's such a counterproductive method to, first of all, like those studio executives just must have been terrible at their job, because any movie studio executive, of course, their goal is to make most money at the box office as possible. But they do that. They all understand that they do that through creating a quality product, at least what they see in their minds as a quality product, and that often comes to conflict with the director and other people involved. And that's where those conflicts arise. But it typically does still come from a place of the executive thinks they're doing what's best for the movie. In this case, it's just like they didn't give a shit about the movie. It was just so weird. And then they spent all this extra money. They spent millions of more dollars on these reshoots. And it's like if they just throwing money down the toilet. It's just so weird, especially when this assembly cut sounds like it was fine how it was, It just doesn't make any sense. It just sounds like a bunch of business people terrible at their jobs more than anything.
I think Sigourney Weaver's salary was like 1/9 the movie's budget.
I thought it was $5.5 million.
Yeah, I think it was like a $45 million movie, so like that.
Yeah. Oh man! Well, just that for inflation. I don't know how.
I had a look at. I think it's like 11 million today or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
But Sigourney Weaver,
11 million for one movie.
Oh shit, yeah, dude. Shit, yeah. Everyone seems to love Sigourney Weaver. By the way, just like reading through all this trivia and stuff. I got in here. I won't read the whole thing, but like she publicly completely sided with Fincher and everything and was totally with him. She always seems to be with the directors. There was that interview with there was a guy who was the director who was originally attached to whatever the fifth Alien movie was going to be before it became Prometheus and Ridley came back. There was sort of a fifth Alien movie and there was a director there, and he spoke about how Sigourney was 100% supportive of him, and like apparently she just like gets along with directors and like is really supportive of their vision and stuff, which is super interesting. But yeah, wasn't enough here, I guess.
It's really weird. Like the studio didn't want them to film that scene in the infirmary. It's like they like. I think what you're saying is like the idea was they just wanted an alien product and they wanted something that was they didn't want Fincher to put too much of like an artistic stamp on it. But it just seems like they were cutting down like opportunities for like necessary scenes, and they didn't understand like what was necessary and what was some random like crazy vision of Fincher's. Like yeah.
The thing is, none of it comes off as crazy or like too altruistic. Like it's all just very like it's such a it's like Zach said, it's just such an odd case of studio interference.
Yeah, it comes across like, obviously I'd be so interested to be a fly on the wall during these conflicts, but this one in particular. But it's like, it must have just been like those explicit producers, like these ones were just trash. Like,
wasn't it one of the writers as well? Like created like a really shit script as well, but then like it kind of got forced into like this.
So, what I do. So I don't know if this is exactly. Hang on, here I got a trivia about the script. $7 million had been spent on sets that were never used. Just think about that for a second. $7 million. That's Sigourney. It's over Sigourney Weaver's payment. Before they'd even started filming. During filming, the script was still constantly changing and being rewritten, with new versions faxed to the studio on a near daily basis. Cast and crew often filmed the scene and learned the next day that it had been scrapped. So that's just someone sitting in Fox just going like, oh, I don't like it. Like, what? Why? What? It's so weird. I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. Someone's probably written a book about it. That sounds like something you'd write a solid book about. And
I think there's a movie. I mean, there's a movie about making the first one. I've seen it like a lot of. And even that one, it's like producers were on their ass all the time. And there was like a lot of people always walking in and trying to change things and stuff. So,
right.
Yeah.
Wreckage.
Sorry,
you're right.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Just like on that producers in their ass notes. It seems like it's like, these first three all have that issue where like, not issue necessarily, but like, where people have interfered with like the director's vision and the writer's script or whatever. But I remember watching the special edition for the fourth film. Like the director intros it and he's like, "This is not a director's cut because my cut is the one that went to theaters." So like, it's like by the fourth film they learned to just listen to the director, but like by that time it was too late because they shouldn't have listened to the director.
Yeah, because it's like the worst original.
Yeah.
Dude, they just can't do anything right. That's so funny. So yeah, there is apparently a documentary called "Wreckage and Rage: Making Alien 3." So, but that sounds like it definitely covers all of that stuff. That's super interesting.
I feel like Fincher tried to make it thematically dense, unlike the other films, which were just kind of, like this kind of silent stalker horror, and then just like kind of, action man in space type thing. Whereas this one felt like, Fincher actually wanted to use the film to say something. But, I think that was definitely lost in your version. And then I think just in my version, I just didn't pick up on what it was. Because I saw a few people throwing things around and I was like, I did not get this. But, I think it's obvious that he tried to say something.
What were some of those suggestions that people had?
I saw one suggesting terminal illness, which was interesting.
Oh.
But then, like,
interesting.
Yeah, and it's an idea I like, but I'm not 100% on how it entirely works, But like that's the one that I liked the most.
Yeah, interesting. I need to watch the other version of it. I mean, I can see some pieces, I guess. Like Ripley's got a freaking alien inside of it, and religion sort of can be relevant to that.
Yeah, I think it's like I think the religion adds to it a lot.
Yeah.
It would be cool if this was a good movie.
Amen. 100%. The way
I really like the way that like it's a different violence to the previous films. There's definitely a different aesthetic to the gore,
Yeah, I think it's more bloody. I think it's like more horror. Yeah.
I love the autopsy scene as well. Like it's like when he like as he like cuts into it and like it's just.
Yeah. I love how she says, "Be careful." Like, what's a careful way to cut a chest open?
No, because it's be careful because she's worried that the alien's going to pop out of her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. How did we feel that Newt just died off screen? By the way,
good. Yeah. I mean, would it be good to have seen it? I don't know.
Like, I never liked her anyway, but it's just one of those sequel things that's sort of, I don't know, it's fine. It's not like a major complaint, but it's sort of just like, I don't know. I don't really enjoy when sequels like just make nothing of a character that's like pivotal to the previous movie, Like she was so important in the previous movie. We had to go back and save her and all this shit. I didn't give a shit about her there either, don't get me wrong, but it was just sort of like, oh, now she's just nothing to this story.
Yeah, but that's what Fincher wanted. He wanted to create a different product that's like that kind of ends a franchise, and he didn't want to. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, right? Like he wanted to stray away from like that kind of family storyline because that was one of the original scripts that was given like back in like just after Aliens, where like it was them trying to play family back on Earth, and then like Michael Biehn gets like paranoid that there's an alien in him or some shit like that. And I think they I think when Fincher came along, he didn't want that really.
Yeah, that's it. Like Fincher, I like you a lot, and you probably had, and when you decided to scrap that, you probably had a better idea that your movie wasn't going to turn out like this. But I don't know, that to me just sounded like a way more interesting idea personally to me.
What, them playing family? No.
And Michael Biehn becoming paranoid. That sounds cool. And they're on Earth.
That's not Alien though.
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I'd hate to see Ripley in a domesticated role. Like, I mean, like I'm sure like they'd she'd eventually break that and then like she'd become like the normal badass. But like I'd hate to see them play. I'd hate to see it play into that role.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of bored of Ripley at this point. I mean, she's dead, but she'll be back. Maybe, sort of. I don't know. I'm curious about that. We can probably get to our final verdicts, I imagine. Go for it, Liam.
I don't know. It was kind of... It wasn't engaging at the end, bottom line. It wasn't really engaging, so I don't know. 4 out of 10 again. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah, like this is a movie that I like quite a bit, but I think that I still do feel largely unengaged, despite all the things that we've talked about. But I'm going to keep it to 6. Like that's what I gave it the first time out, and I think a 6 is justified and very fair. With this version that I watched, with the special edition, not the theatrical release.
Is there like a separate listing on Letterboxd for the assembly cut?
I don't think so.
That's a shame.
Because I
Still
know
wish there
that
was.
I know that there are for like some films like Kill Bill like has 3 entries of like 1, 2, and then the whole thing. And then like
That's just dumb.
I know some other ones also have like alternate, like Zack Snyder's Justice League, obviously.
Right, yeah, but then it's weird to me. Yeah, but then you can't get a director's cut of any of the Alien movies as a listing.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Should we fly over to New Zealand and just hack the studio?
Yeah.
Just fix their goddamn listings. Add TV shows. I'll give this movie a 4. I was bored as shit during this goddamn movie, man. It's coherent, sort of. Actually, maybe not compared to Jaden's version, but it was unoffensively boring. I also forgot to mention that I just hate the way it looks. Can't stand it. It's just the most brown, ugly looking shit I've ever seen.
I love it. I love
I
it.
want to vomit looking at this goddamn screen, dude.
Actually, I think color grading did. I
cool.
think color grading did occur in like the special edition as well. Like they did regrade it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't enjoy it at all, really. Let's go to news chat, where we're going to talk about the one and only story anyone needs to talk about this week, and that is the released deleted scene for The Batman. How cool is this? We get to go back to our Batman review, but just talk about a scene. How cool is that? So the deleted scene released. Matt Reeves had talked about this scene a few weeks ago. I didn't really expect for it to release online this early. I thought they'd wait for the Blu-ray, but anyway.
Yeah, I can't believe they released it either. That's nutty.
It's weird. It's cool though. I don't mind. So it's this deleted scene where old man Robert Pattinson goes to visit Joker, goes to visit in prison this Barry Keoghan version of the Joker that we briefly saw in the film, but he actually goes and speaks to him one-on-one. There's an implied history between the two, which is cool, and they have a chat. And in terms of the plot, it's actually quite an extensive scene. It's about 4 minutes long, but the whole plot reason, I assume it would be inserted somewhere in the sort of, I assume, in the middle of the film somewhere, to just another thing for Batman to go and get some insight. But anyway, yeah, I'm just now explaining what it is. What do you think of it, Jaden?
Good, very very good. I think this is lifted from The Long Halloween, if I remember correctly. Like in part 1, I'm pretty sure there's a scene there where Batman does go to consult the Joker in like Arkham. So I think so it's reminiscent of that scene where like he gives it to him, he gives him the papers and shit like that. But no, I love the scene that we're shown. You know, I think Barry Keoghan, as you said.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. He's Irish though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably it's something fucked. I love the Joker that he portrays. It seems more game-like and more like the animated films in terms of just like derangedness and like kind of depiction. I love the scene itself. The scene itself is just quite good, like in terms of just acting and just kind of like, you know, just atmosphere building. It has all the same traits as the rest of the film, obviously.
Yeah, what about you, Fitzy? Oh, sorry, you're still going. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, you know, like I think it's better that they took it out because I'd rather the Joker be left, you know, out of it. But like at the same time, if it was in there, I wouldn't mind at all.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it probably would. That would have been the scene that probably pushed it over 3 hours because I think it was about that long. Liam, what'd you think?
It was okay. It wasn't good. It was kind of, I don't know. It was very Heath Ledger. It felt a bit like it would have really fucking sucked if it was in the movie. And it felt like they were trying a bit hard to make it like, I don't know, edgy and intimidating, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe if it was fleshed out, it would have been cool. But definitely good that they deleted it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I totally understand why they deleted it, because it doesn't really add anything to the plot in terms of like Batman in the scene doesn't learn anything from the Joker that's actually pivotal to now he in terms of what he goes and does next in the film. There's not really a story beat there. I still much prefer it to the scene we got of Joker in the movie. And I like the idea, even though it doesn't have a plot purpose. Again, it's why I understand it was deleted. But I like the idea of like it's like a Hannibal Lecter thing, which I saw someone say, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's cool. I like the idea that instead of it just feeling like this awkward ass like post credit scene at the end of the movie where, oh hey guys, look, Joker's here. Look, instead like it's something that Bruce goes and does, and because he wants to consult someone. It's kind of interesting to me. I like it sort of in itself. The way the scene that was in the movie with him felt, it was just a post credit tease, like, hey guys, what Joker's going to be in the next movie, and it was just sort of like whatever. Here, it feels like it has a bit more significance in terms of I like the implied history between the two. Like it's cool. It makes it feel more like, oh, Joker's just in this universe. Like I feel like if this scene were in the film and not the one we got, we wouldn't be all like, oh, they're teasing Joker for the sequel necessarily as obviously, like he probably, I guess it would very much imply that we'd see him again, but I don't think it would be as obvious that Joker's definitely going to be the villain next time. Like it just feels like, oh, Joker's just in this world and we'll see him pop up. Like in the next film, he might just do the same thing. He might just go and visit and have a chat again, and that's cool. I sort of like that. So
I don't know if I personally even like really liked Hannibal Lecter thing though. Like I understand like deleting for the plot, whatever, but like it's not. I don't know. I don't like that by itself. Or I guess I don't really like the Silence of the Lambs. Like the least interesting parts for me are the Hannibal Lecter things. I don't think it's that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's where you get like I differ from you guys, I guess.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting though. I mean, they definitely gave me that vibe though, I think. And I know I liked Barry in the scene. I don't know. I quite enjoyed him. I get what you mean. Like I feel like I struggle with how much we sort of, because I understand the Heath Ledger comparisons, but I sort of am also just struggling with like how much do we sort of just project that?
Yeah.
Like how much is it actually similar to Heath Ledger, or are we just sort of always constantly comparing every Joker we ever see to Heath Ledger? And we probably will for the rest of time, because I do think it's different in ways. The makeup was kind of the most similar part to me, actually, that they did with him, because
Really?
Joaquin's makeup is quite distinct, Actually, to be fair, I never really felt that Joaquin was similar to Heath Ledger, so maybe that is a point to Fitzy's perspective too. I don't know, because he sort of had the same. I don't know, had the same sort of messed up, like sort of painted on himself vibe, which I felt was quite distinct to Heath's version.
But like in terms of speech, like he has the same like kind of drawl. Like he kind of extends everything out, like a big sigh
fair.
or something. That was the one part that I picked up. And like, I don't think Jack Nicholson or Joaquin Phoenix share that with Heath Ledger. I think that's
fair. That's true.
I don't feel like his draw was as. I felt like it was different though. It just felt it felt more. I don't know. I don't think it felt like Heath Ledger's draw. I mean, like I don't think that in itself.
Hmm.
I don't know.
It felt like Jared Leto's draw.
Yeah, I mean that, and him being a bit twitchy, I guess. I don't know. It was definitely like, if you're talking about inspiration, like definitely the biggest inspiration there you can point to. Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely feel like I'd sooner go to games and animated films for inspiration than Heath Ledger.
From this one.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, I mean, he feels very like Arkham, like his look is definitely more like an Arkham Joker, I guess. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's so weird. Yeah, we're all like sort of slightly different with it. I don't, because I get that comparison more from the dialogue. I feel like the dialogue in terms of what he's actually saying feels more like Game Joker or like Comic Joker, But I sort of get what Fitzy's saying about the drool. Like I sort of get that. I get that. I said drool. He was just drooling. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like everyone and their mum's got a different opinion on Joker and stuff. He's just that iconic of a character that he's just sort of divisive, I guess. I just enjoyed, like, actually, the thing I enjoyed most about it was just getting an extra sort of like 2 minutes of Robin Pattinson as Batman. He was just great in the scene again. I'm like, oh, dude, I just want to. Can I just rewatch this movie with you in it again? He's great.
I think it's interesting that there's an implied history, and because this is it's like we said in the thing that this is a young Batman who's only had 1 year of experience. So was that experience with Joker, or was Joker someone that was already terrorizing Gotham, and then he kind of took up the mantle because of the Joker?
Oh yeah. It's like that age-old question of like, do the supervillains flock to Batman, or does Batman, you know what I mean, or did the supervillains only exist in Gotham in the first place because Batman's there? Like, does Batman actually cause all Gotham's problems? When people make that argument, it's quite interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, now we can get into our highlights of the week, I suppose.
I watched the Fokker trilogy.
So it is a trilogy.
Oh, you watched all three?
Yeah, it's a trilogy. I did, yeah. I was totally joking last week when I said I'd rewatch them, but then I saw they're on Netflix and Meet the Parents was on Netflix, and curiosity got hold of me, got the best of me, I guess. The first two are actually pretty funny and enjoyable. And like the first one's premise is pretty simple, like easy to like dramatically simple. Like he needs to like impress the dad. And the dad is like, he's like strict and it's like kind of gatekeeping the daughter. But then like as the series goes on, that kind of devolves. Like the second one's like meet the parents, like, he's got to accept the parents now. And then the third one is like, can he be the head of the family or whatever? And like I hate the third one. The third one sucks. It's like there's like Godfather jokes. And there's like a parody of like the Godfather theme, and I don't know. There's like a joke about there's like boner jokes, and it's so lazy. And it's like it's also just not as like solid in terms of its premise as the other two. Like what he has to like lead the kids or lead the family, or like I don't know. It's not the other two. Like it makes a little bit of sense, but the third one just kind of devolves into nothing. But yeah, I mean,
wait, hey, is the third one Little Fockers? Is that what that one's called?
Yeah, Little Fockers.
I didn't know.
But yeah, Ben Stiller is good. I've been estranged from Ben Stiller over the years, but he's good. I used to watch Tower Heist and all the time. So, yeah,
he's the director of that Severance show.
Severance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he directed that whole thing.
Is that what's that?
The Apple show. People seem to like at the moment. He's sort of more a behind the camera guy these days. I think I haven't seen him as like in the movie. And
well, he's directed quite a few films.
Yeah, I mean, has he been in a prominent film as the star since like Walter Mitty?
I think like 2013.
Yeah,
Zoolander 2, I think was.
Yeah, I think that came out after that.
It's been a while though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him. Because he directed Tropic Thunder, I think, right?
Yeah, he directed Reality Bites. He directed Zoolander 1 and 2.
Oh, okay, cool. So he directed those two. Cool. All right. Good on you, Ben. I appreciate that analysis of Ben Stiller's character arc across the Parents trilogy.
Well, I think he plays like a normal guy pretty well in a weird situation. Like he's that comedic. Like Night at the Museum is the exact same thing, but he's good at that.
I forgot about those movies. Oh man. Jan, what are you watching?
I watched Ocean's 11.
Oh yeah.
Big Stevie Soderbergh.
Yeah, that's right.
It was. I don't think I gave it enough. I don't think I gave it enough attention to like actually appreciate it. Like it was just because I thought it was very stock standard, but then looking at it afterwards, it seems like people love it and praise it heavily, which shocked me. it's a heist film. It's a heist film in Vegas. But it's not like particularly interesting. Like it's a cool, quirky cast of characters, but like I just don't care about it. I don't care about George Clooney and his wife. I don't, I just um, it's just a none. It's just not a very interesting film to me. Like it has its enjoyable moments, and I think it's still adequate as a product. But like I think the highest. Once again, it's this thing that modern day was spoiled for choice, and like I think I've experienced many much better heist films, more interesting concepts, better locations, and all the shit. So like, although this may be a good one, it's not personally very interesting for me. 6 out of 10.
Do you know it's sort of standing in the genre? Because I feel like when you think about like the mainstream heist film, people think of Ocean's 11. Is it?
Yeah.
What was it like? Was it an evolution of a formula that already existed, or was it, or like, or not even an evolution, like a big budget like coming out party for that genre, I guess, or was it genuinely innovative for its time? Like I don't really understand the history of that prototype of story, where you like assemble the team and all that sort of stuff.
I'm not sure like how unique it is in the genre. The the film like makes a big shit about it, being a casino heist instead of just like a normal bank heist. So maybe that's like a thing. I don't really know though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just
I was just
how
curious
like,
about that.
big the cast is as well. Like
I mean, like you think it's big, but like it still only focuses on fucking George and Brad, and like then like the antagonist, and that's it. Like there's a lot of people, but they've got hardly any screen time to really do anything.
yeah,
Does anyone interesting play the villain? I don't remember.
Andy Garcia.
Who's that?
No,
Wait, is he the Godfather Part 3 guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. My vague memory of watching that film was that I was bored in the first half, and then I found the second half really fun. That's sort of all I remember about it. And there's the little like Asian gymnast guy. He was fun.
Yeah.
I remember that. What am I watching? I don't know. Nothing. I don't know. Oh no, I watched shit. Oh no, sorry. I watched Boogie Nights. I watched PTA's Boogie Nights, man, and I sort of, dude, I like sort of had this weird awakening where I'm like, oh, I haven't seen Boogie Nights. I'll watch Boogie Nights, and then I put it on. I was like, man, I actually haven't seen many of PTA's films at all. I sort of feel like I've seen more than I have, and I really haven't. I've seen less than half still, I think. So I've got to get on that now for sure. But yeah, dude, what a great ass movie this was. I had a blast, and it was sort of jumping into it. I was like, 2 hours and 35 minutes. Like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh, but I should just commit now while I've got the time. I'll just do it. And then but then I was just in, it was just a blast. And it was actually one of those things where like scene to scene, like the performances are so good. The movie's really engaging and really funny and very surprising. And it's just like, it's everything you want a movie to be on an entertainment level. But then like when it ended, I sort of like, there was such a clear vision to the film that I did the thing where I sit there for like a few minutes and I'm just like, I have to, because this is what I have to do. Because to like fully connect with a movie, it has to be about something to me, or at least I need to be able to articulate it in some way. Not that it has to have like a clear message or anything necessarily, but it has to have like an identity, a heart to it. And I was sort of sitting there and I was like, so what was that for this movie? Like I knew it was there 100%. Like it was so obvious there was one, but I was just like, I was trying to figure it out and I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, then I threw an 8 on it because I thought it was great. I had a great time. And then I read the trivia on IMDb, as I do, and I came across a PTA quote of what the film is about to him. And I was like, fuck, that's it. He's nailed it. And on the spot, I was like, I want to put it to a 9 now. But I'm like, no, I've already put the score on it. But I was like, damn, like that's so spot on. And what he talked about was, and anyone who's not a spoiler at all, but anyone who's seen it knows exactly what this is. He says that the film is about people finding their dignity. And I'm like, yeah, oh my God, that's genius. Like that's it, like connected where I'm like, I 100% see every bit you were going for there now. Because I was sort of wrestling with the fact that like these characters, they grow so much and change so much, and we follow them through such a long period of time. But they don't really change. They don't really. They sort of have anti arcs, and I was sort of like trying to figure all that out in my head. But that's sort of the thing, is that they don't really change in terms of what they do, but they do clearly grow, and that's what it is. They find their dignity throughout the film, and if you've seen it, it's just like that is so spot on. I loved it for that reason as well. So it was like it went from like, dude, that movie was a blast, to now it's like, dude, that movie's like genius vision. Like I get it. Like that's awesome. I love that. So what a great ass movie. We can only PTA's peaked. You know what else can he do? He can do so many other things I haven't seen. That was like sarcasm to say. So yeah, Liam, what should I go to next? I don't know when to go. There's too many options. There's too many options. I can go backwards. I can go forwards. You know, I don't know what to do.
I don't know.
My thinking was just Magnolia. Just go to the next one.
Mm.
But I don't know how wise that is. You're the expert here.
Yeah, I'd say Magnolia. Yeah. I mean, if you have 3 hours, yeah.
Right, dude. I might just watch it tonight. Why not? I'm on a PTA high right now. I may as well just get it.
Let's go.
May as well go and do it. I think I might. We'll see. Oh shit! No, I wanted to watch West Side Story before the Oscars on Monday. I might do that actually. It's another 3 hours.
On Monday, fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's another 3 hours. God damn. So yeah, we'll have those to talk about next week if we want to.
Oh yeah, that's perfect timing.
Okay, as always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what has been your favourite experience watching a 3D film? Luke said, dude, Shrek 4D at Movie World. Completely, we said 3D, not 4D. Have you guys ever done 4D or any, because I know 4D is obviously complete bullshit, but like, have you ever done any version of it? Or have you done 7D? Have you guys seen 7D?
Yeah, I done 4D.
Where'd you go?
I have no idea. I remember I had water sprinkled on my legs or some shit.
I think it's quite a good experience just to do like a one-off thing.
Where'd you go, Jan?
Well, I did Journey to the Center of the Earth at Movie World in 4D, and then there's like, you know, like those 7D cinemas like Pepper the Gold Coast.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's actually exactly what I was thinking of 7D. Yeah.
Yeah, I did one of those.
What are they like? Like, what do you watch?
With those ones, it's a lot more gamified. Like, it's not an actual like story oriented thing. It's like the one I did was like run along the Great Wall. So it's like this kind of first person thing, and you're like, you know, like a rickshaw, and it's just this dude running along, you know, the Great Wall, and like the whole fucking like seating thing is rigged up, and it's just like, you know, up and down and shit like that. And, you know, obviously with like the air and you know, the water spray and all that.
Right. So there's all that too.
Yeah. So the 7D is like it's like a 10-minute experience, and it's just like short, not really story oriented things. It's just, you know,
it's like a ride basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Got it. I was going to ask how long it was. So yeah, 10 minutes. Cool. But Luke actually said my favorite 3D movie was actually How to Train Your Dragon. That was great. I did see Avatar in 3D, but I was too young to appreciate it. I think I'll have to rewatch it. Yeah, I saw Avatar in 3D. I mean, didn't everyone saw Avatar in 3D, right?
I didn't watch it as soon as.
Well, yes.
You saw it in 3D, Fitzy?
That's my answer. Avatar, by the way.
Oh, cool. Okay, spoilers. Let's come down here. Andy said, sadly, never been to a 3D movie at the theatre or at home before. Closest to seeing one was when I was 9 years old. My primary school went to see some human body doco movie at IMAX, and as we walked in, I saw a Melbourne primary school class with 85% Asian kids in their class with 3D glasses in their eyes, and walked in to watch Despicable Me next door like a bunch of smug C words that rhyme with punts. That's a piece of lore now, isn't it, that one? We didn't get to see it, though, of course. You guys Despicable Me fans, actually?
Yeah.
I liked the first one. I don't know if I've seen the others. Oh, no, I've definitely seen the second one. Anyway, favourite 3D movie? Fitzy already spoiled it. He said Avatar.
Yeah, I saw Avatar 3 times, yeah.
You saw it 3 times in 3D 3 times?
I don't know if it's 3D or... Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I remember seeing it 3D, though. That was pretty good.
Lena's the reason it became a $2 billion film.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avengers Endgame came close, but Fitzy pushed it back over.
Yeah.
Very well done. Very well done. But you know what's so interesting? I was actually thinking, with the Avatar sequel coming out this year, and with us getting a trailer probably in the next few months, like, is that, and 3D not really existing anymore? What does that mean for that movie? Like, is it going to be a 3D thing? Like, are they going to market it the same? Is it going to be the same sort of experience? Is James Cameron trying to make it a 3D experience still? Or does he just not give a shit about that anymore? Like, I'm curious. I don't know how that's going to go. Like, are they going to bring back 3D just for this? Like, or does he
3D is
not
still
care?
a thing, because I had a look. I had a look when I was looking for this a question. But a lot of the questions were like, is 3D still like a thing? And like they do still shoot in 3D. I just think it's like a lot more limited. It's like it wouldn't surprise me if this is like a 3D experience.
Yeah, but that's so interesting for like the theaters. Like, they don't. I'm sure they can still project 3D, but what, do they have to like buy all the glasses again? Like, I don't know if Village has got all glasses still there, like sitting around.
I'm not sure how, like if they'd even allow that to happen, because like I know just at school using safety glasses after every student uses them, you have to, they get wiped down and like kind of cleaned. So like would Village want to wipe down and clean every pair of
Those glasses were just disposable, though, right? Well, they didn't reuse them, did they?
I'm pretty sure they were reusable ones.
Really?
Because they were like hard framed, right?
Yeah, I sort of recall throwing them out though, but maybe I'm wrong.
I remember there being like a specific like a bin type thing for you to put them in, but like I think it was like one that they just reuse.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Fascinating stuff. Of course. Jane, what's yours?
How to Train Your Dragon as well, because it's the only one I
Wow.
remember. Like I have such a distinct memory of leaving the theater like multiple times and leaving my glasses there, but like I just do not remember any of the other times, any of the other films. I can only remember How to Train Your Dragon. So yeah, in terms of theater experience, that's got to be it.
Cool. I didn't see that one in the theater. I saw the second one though. I really liked the second one, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I haven't seen the third one still. I feel like that maybe is that a trilogy franchise review coming up? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I watched the third one recently for the first time. It's quite.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Come on, guys. Do you know who I am? It's the Phantom Menace 3D, of course. Did you guys go to that? Did you watch that?
Because they did that re-release as well.
They sure did. It's a great time. I have no eye for 3D, like technically, so I don't know, like I probably still wouldn't be able to notice, but like how different it is going to a remastered film for 3D versus a film shot in 3D. I wonder how different that makes the experience. I really don't know. Because of course the Phantom Menace was not shot with 3D cameras in 1999. So yeah, I don't know, but I had a blast watching the Phantom Menace in 3D. I do recall. I think if I'm not mistaken, in 2010 or something like that. I think. Yeah, it's a great time. You can't go wrong. The Phantom Menace is just a blast of a film anyway. So doing it in 3D
sure, yeah.
It only just explodes off the screen more. When he tried spinning, it felt like he span right on my face. It was crazy. Anyway, as always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join the Discord. Next week, for the grand episode 100, we'll be asking you, what has been the worst episode of Cinema Effect? Correct answers only, please. No sarcasm. I want you to be brutal. All right. I want you to deeply analyze episode 73. It was terrible because Zach said this and he was really racist. Go use whatever logic you want to use. That's fine. Whatever criteria.
Zach was racist can be applied to so many episodes.
At least 15. At least 15. So yeah, that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone. Liam, what's happening next week?
We're doing Tenet. It's gonna be not just any regular. Like, by the way, Tenet's on Netflix and Fox now, but
should we spoil what's going to make it special?
Shouldn't we? No.
I feel like it is a fun surprise.
All right. Well, they might not even know, but we're going to be doing something different that you might pick up on or not. We'll probably talk about it, but yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if we just did the whole thing without making it obvious what's going on, and that like no one could tell.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually what I'm curious about. Like listening back to it, how different it's going to feel and sound, just like as a listening experience. I feel like there's going to be something there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to be way worse. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see you all next week for episode 100 if you'll care to join us. We appreciate you tuning in today. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Thanks, guys, for joining me too, by the way. Never forget that part. And we'll see you later. Goodbye.